Hobby family, starting to feel a little under the weather today, so I thought I would go ahead and get my video out in case on Monday I am out of commission. So here we go. We've got 5 years on YouTube.
Share some of my new basketball pickups. Stay tuned.
Going to be talking about today, along with a pretty cool news announcement that I saw on collect.com. Big thanks to channel partners, Card Capsule. Card Capsule supplies at inexpensive prices. Whether you need cases or semi-rigids or top loaders, all the goodness it's over there at Card Capsule. I've got a discount code for you in the video description as well as in the pinned comments, so make sure you check that out. Also, justcollect.com. You have a collection to sell. Maybe you're trying to sell off half of it, don't know where to go. There's a very easy appraisal form right there on the justcollect.com website for you to see what your collection is worth. Collect.com reported that Tiger Woods has re-upped with Upper Deck. For all the autographed memorabilia, cards, all the stuff, it's going to come through Upper Deck. I like this, frankly, because just like with Michael Jordan, just like with Wayne Gretzky, they've all had these long-standing relationships with Upper Deck. And it makes it easy for collectors / hobbyists. If they're out there looking for autographed memorabilia or cards, whatever, it's an easy search. Just, okay, it's all through Upper Deck. All the good stuff is going to be through Upper Deck. And so Tiger Woods re-ups. Tiger Woods auto card is something that's been on my radar for a while. But again, they're not inexpensive. And it's always just kind of like, which one do I want? Picking the right one. I do think, Tiger Woods be the most influential golfer in modern times. 5 years on YouTube. It was actually March 22nd was my first video, 2020. So that was a couple weeks ago and I completely just blew past it, missed it. Life is busy, but that was the first video that I put out on the channel talking about sports cards.
Last week, picked up poison ivy. So if you look, my eye over here is a little bit shut on this side. I'm looking a little funky. And that is because of poison ivy. I don't know if it got a little bit on my eyelid or what happened there, but I am struggling quite a bit, so apologies. A little bit raggedy today, but I'm coming to you anyway. I wanted to make sure that I got my video out for the day.
At the time, I thought that I was going to be slick, and my channel name was The Personal Finance Dad because I figured, okay, I can talk about sports cards, I can talk about finance stuff, and it could all just be on this one channel, not understanding really how YouTube works. I ended up rebranding a year and a half later or so after I started the channel to The Sports Card Dad. Year and a half, 2 years after that to The Sports Card Dad. It just made sense as all my videos were about sports cards, and I would kind of throw in finance stuff here and there, but it was predominantly 99.9% sports card stuff. And so after I learned how YouTube worked, it was like, okay, maybe I need to switch this up, kind of rebrand this a little bit to make it make sense for people that are looking for sports card channels. And so I landed on The Sports Card Dad. And I know a lot of my viewers are also sports card dads themselves, so it's very relatable. For people that might be just getting into the sports card hobby now or getting back into it, the odd thing is if you go back 5 years ago when I started my channel, there was very few channels, especially that were talking about hobby news, hobby topics, different kind of debates around cards. There was certainly a lot of activity in forums, whether that be the Net54 forum or the Blowout forums and that sort of a thing. Instagram, sure, there was people on Instagram. I really wasn't doing a whole lot on Instagram until maybe a couple of years ago. And even now, I don't really do it. I just use Instagram to kind of try to promote the YouTube. I'm not a big IGer. I don't know really how to do a lot of the fancy reels and the special effects and that sort of a thing. And really the content I enjoy making is not really the short form, like the 10-second, 30-second type stuff. I like doing longer form type stuff. Longer form meaning like 7 to 12 minute videos. And then sometimes I'll do a 30-minute video, a 45-minute video. We might have an interview with another hobbyist or industry person, or we've got, a live stream going on with some of my buddies like we do with Off-Centered, with Flippin' Steve and Neo and Michael Ham. Speaking of, those guys all started around the same time 5 years ago. Flipping Steve, Neo Cards and Comics, and Michael Ham pretty much all kind of started out back during those times. What was interesting and also kind of challenging back then, if we go back to March of 2020 when I started my channel, is I had certain cards that I considered to be PC cards, cards that I wanted to hang on to over a long period of time. But then there was so much weird price action that happened between really like summertime of 2020 going into the end of 2021, kind of like summer of 2021 towards the end of 2021. And so he ended up selling a lot of the stuff because it doubled, tripled, 10x'd, and so a lot of times there was cards that I was like, man, I'm going to hold on to this. and then you just end up selling it to then buy into something else to then resell it. And so there was a lot of flipping action going back then to that time frame. And so a lot of the content was geared around that, buying and selling and flipping. Of course, we have flipping now, most certainly do, but it was just different back then. Black Swan event where you had just a truckload of new money coming in and also stimulus money that was funding a lot of the buys and sells and the flips. And so it was kind of one of those things. I don't think it'll ever happen again in the same way as it did. Now we have a much more regular, normal marketplace, I feel like. Yes, we've got hype out there. There's hype products and hype cards and certain things like that. But for the most part, I think that the market has really matured and hobbyists are way smarter than myself included going back to 2020 and 2021. We were kind of like riding the wave back then. And then now you kind of see how things played out and everyone has assessed and they're making different buying decisions and that sort of a thing. There's guys that I used to collaborate with going back in time that are no longer doing content. Brad, the comeback card investor. I'm not going to say I don't miss hanging out with him, having conversations with him. He's a funny guy. He's now doing his like fitness and finance stuff out in LA and seems to be happy doing it. I've tried to get him back on for an episode. Hey, let's catch up with you a few years later. And he keeps on pushing it out. So I'm not sure if he's actually ever going to do it. We'll see. But I do miss the banter that I used to have with Brad and some of the other characters, that we had going back in time. Boris, the hobby box, he's no longer making any sort of sports card content. And there's many, many, many that have decided to stop making the content because a lot of it, again, going back in time, a lot of it was based on quick flipping. And back then there was so much price action that it wasn't hard to either buy graded cards and then sell them or buy raw cards, grade them out, resell them. I mean, it was very easy. It was probably the easiest money ever in the hobby in that 12 to 18 month span of time. Now, of course, it's a lot more challenging. The people that have stayed in have really kind of found their niche and found, okay, this is what I'm good at, whether that's high end or mid end or certain players. It's a very different market. But like I said, I think that it is a more balanced and a more healthy market, way more healthy. It's not driven on just, crazy stimulus money and social media hype. I know people will say like, oh my God, there's plenty of fanatics, social media hype or Panini or whatever, or influencers, whatever, and that hype up new products and all that. That's fine. Sure, that's true, but it's still a lot different than it used to be. And I like it the way that it is now compared to where it was in 2020 and 2021. We'll talk more on this subject, the 5 years on YouTube, on the upcoming Off-Centered episode. That'll be Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Assuming I feel good. Like I said, last night I started to feel a little under the weather. I'm a little cloudy, a little bit of some brain fog. Hey, sports card collectors and investors. Thanks for joining me again for our latest episode. For starters, let me give a quick poison ivy update. I am officially on the mend. I'm on a steroid now that's helping, get things going a little bit faster, but I do have kind of the crazy red eyes. So I have poison ivy around my eyes. I think I mentioned in my last video. Thank God it's not in my eyes, but it is making me look a little weird these days. Going on, but I should be good to go for Wednesday night, I'm hoping. And we'll talk more on this. We can kind of reflect and talk about all the happenings in the sports card hobby with you all in the chat. Guys, thanks for joining me. And for all of you that have been watching going all the way back to 2020, I appreciate you. I'm going to try to mix in a couple of the old clips to give you an idea of how far we've come and how far the wall has come. Stay tuned. The wall used to just be bare, just white walls, looked like I was in a prison cell. And now the prison cell has a lot more pictures on it. Friends, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.